Being that I am ever the organisational freak, I'm getting in and getting some of my Christmas shopping done. Not much to do actually, so let's wrap it all up. Next up is a very quick wardrobe switch over. Over here is my spring capsule wardrobe, and it's actually been one of my favorite capsule wardrobes that I've done. I've not gotten bored with any of these clothes. I've been able to mix and match them and pretty much have most days where I've got something to wear. So I'm going to integrate these back into this section, and then what I want to do over here is just put any sort of thick jumpery type things, jeans, jackets, etc. in there. So I've kind of got like a wardrobe over this side that's going to be good for the summertime and into the start of autumn. Cheers! Time for a bit of a cuppa and some life admin. First thing that I want to do is make myself some end of year to-dos. So I've just got a home one and then also a work one, which will be both YouTube and school stuff. And I just want to sit down for a moment, drink my cuppa and brain dump everything that I would like to achieve in between now and the end of the year. If necessary, I'll go into January because I'll still be on school holidays then, but these are definitely things that I'd like to have squared away before school returns at the end of January. Ideally, before Christmas even would be fantastic. So I've definitely got some things happening on both lists. In fact, my work list is exceedingly long, and I know that I'm probably going to find more stuff as I start to get into it. Returning to the teaching world, it is, even though I'm only going back one day a week, truly a full-time job. The next thing that I want to do is now plan out my December content. Obviously there will be some Christmas things happening here, and the first video is going to be this one, my reset routine. I'll then be taking all of the things on my home to-do list and making a get it all done before the end of 2025 video. I've also got two more that I've been working on. One is like a mornings in the yard gardening type video, and then another one is a South Coast staycation type video. So I can kind of already put those down on the list, but I'll be having to kind of brainstorm some other ideas to get me through the end of the year. So if you do have any suggestions or recommendations for like cozy festive type content, or any kind of new year prep type things you'd like to see before we wrap up 2025, leave those as a comment down below and I will add them to my list. I think an end of year reset also means a little bit of a personal reset. Now, I don't have a lot of finances that I can dedicate towards a full beauty overhaul. So my camera died, but here is the new haircut. And even though a new hairdo just helps you feel like fresh, especially as you're going into a new year, one of the biggest things that has been so transformative for me in terms of like glowing up physically at the end of the year has been doing my 75 soft challenge. I selected 7 goals and I have been doing those every single day, and I feel like the whole experience has been super transformative for me in like all aspects of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I am going to do an entire video where I share my journey on 75 soft and finishing the year strong, as well as what I gained from the experience, so make sure to stay tuned for that in the new year. Next up, I want to reflect on my 2025 goals. I did this little spread in my journal at the start of the year and I claimed it as 2025 a year of gentleness, and I feel like I've to a pretty significant extent been able to cultivate that quality within myself and my life this year, and it's definitely something I want to continue on next year. Now, I was overly ambitious with my goals list. I wrote a lot of goals, and in fact they say that you often overestimate how much you can achieve in 1 year and underestimate how much you can achieve in 10 years, and I definitely felt that that was true for me. But nevertheless, I actually found that I was able to achieve so many of these goals this year, and there were a couple that I've since re-evaluated during the course of the year and just ended up dropping off because they didn't really align with where I wanted to go with things anymore. But I feel like number one, create a yard of my dreams with native plants, usable spaces, and cut flowers. Even though my yard is not complete, you would have seen from my last video that I've definitely got some beautiful spaces happening, and it's definitely bringing me some joy. So that one I feel like I've achieved. And second, with the next one, is create a veggie garden brimming with plants. Spend time in the garden daily and use the produce to cook healthy meals. And I've achieved that as well. Commit to a low buy year, yes. Have at least one family vacation. We were able to have, I think, 3 this year, 4 actually, which was so much fun. If you haven't checked out my South Coast adventures, Central West, Sydney and Southern Highlands, they are just fun family travel vlogs, and it was such a good time. Spend time outside with Hunter daily, daily exercise or stretching, weekly meal planning, no spend days, phone free days. I feel like I was able to achieve all of those. One that I was consistently working on but was just unable to achieve, not for my own lack of effort, but just for a lot of external factors really, was grow my YouTube channel to 5,000 subscribers. We don't have too much far to go in the scheme of things, considering how long it has taken me to get to where I'm at now. I've been doing this for 7 years. And I've been able to see significant growth even just in the last year. And I am going to be reframing a lot how I do YouTube and how I perceive it and work within it just in myself. And I'll probably make a video on that at the start of next year. So not for lack of trying, but I didn't get that one. I also didn't get to read all the books I currently own. I have so many books on my physical TBR at home, and I just kept on finding more that I was buying secondhand throughout the year, and so many great ones at the library that I just kept on reshuffling things and was not getting through my own list. So that is going to be something I'll definitely be working on in 2026. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to finalize the inside of the house. Yes, we did get curtains. Yes, we did get a bookcase for Hunter's room, but the painting around the skylights inside is still not done. I was hoping to organize my uncle to come and do that, but we will at some point later down in the line have some external painting that we need to do. So Dave suggested we just put off our internal painting until we are organized for our external painting and just get it all done in the one swoop. So I think that that's fine. I would like to at least have it ticked off and say that it's done, but sometimes, things just don't work out like that, and you need to reshuffle and reevaluate as you go. Probably the biggest thing that has helped me reframe and reevaluate a lot of my goals has actually been this scripture, Psalm 37 verse 4, which says, "Delight yourself in the Lord and he shall give you the desires and petitions of your heart." And I feel like it is very easy to focus on the receiving aspect of that scripture, which is you getting the desires and petitions of your heart. But the first aspect is probably the most important, which is delight yourself in the Lord. And I feel like my faith journey has grown so much this past year, and I am definitely going to attribute all of my success just in terms of being able to achieve the goals that I have, and my just own personal feelings of well-being and joy to that. And I'm definitely going to take that as something that I want to apply more heavily as I set goals for the next year and focus on where I'm being led in 2026. One thing that I have been doing this year that I haven't mentioned previously on my YouTube channel is a bit of a soft project pan. So these are all of the things that I was able to use up during 2025. And I mean, I guess for some people, this might be a lot of things. For some people, this might be not that many. And I literally got to the bottom of everything. For like even these bottles, I took all of the lids off. I let every single thing come out. I even cut off my concealer there and just got well and truly into it. I took out the thing for this lip balm and squidgied that out as well. And then my highlighter here, I've gotten to the end of that. I mean, I suppose I could get my fingernail in there and get out the last remnants, but it is literally all gone. And I definitely want to carry that into 2026. I've got a few more products in here, but mostly like this is where all of my things are. I want to use up as much as I can and try and get like down to a very small, curated daily collection. I do have probably a larger than, in my opinion, necessary collection of nail polishes here and also perfumes, because these roll-on ones were a 4-pack that I bought myself, and then my friend Sarah gave me a 4-pack collection of her Hunter May perfumes. I do wear like something every day, but I think between all 8 of those, that's probably going to take me some time to get through. And considering that I don't paint my nails every single day, that might take me a little bit of time to get through as well. And then the final few things I've got in here, 2 of which are sunscreens, and sunscreen is probably the thing that I have actually used the most up of this year between both myself and Hunter. It's something that we use every single day. So now that I've shown you all this, I can actually finally put it in recycle and rid it from my life and my vanity. As always, I'm going to wrap up by talking about books, my favorite thing to chat about ever. I am still going on some, but during the course of November, I have read 5 books, and we have definitely got a mixed bag, but I would say overall, it has been a very good reading month. I'll talk about this one first because this is the one that I finished first, even though this is the one that I started reading the latest in the month, which I think is just a testament to how binge-worthy it is, and I just absolutely breezed through it. It's called The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose, and it is the second installment in the series. The first one was called The Perfect Marriage. I absolutely loved that book and I rated it as a 5 stars. And in that novel, we had Sarah and Adam Morgan, and a body has turned up, murdered, and we learn from the investigation that this woman, Kelly Summers, was actually having an affair with Adam, and Sarah, who is a lawyer, jumps on his case to represent him in court because naturally he is considered the main suspect. Along the way, there are a bunch of other people who are being investigated, a bunch of suspects, and he ends up being convicted and going to prison with a death sentence. But it's sort of also just working out, well, did he really do it? Was he set up? Was there someone else involved? And obviously the answer to that question is at the end of the first novel. And then in the second novel, we have him, like, this is years later down the track, like 10 or 12 years later, he has been executed and his wife Sarah has moved on. She's remarried, she's had a child, but unlucky for her, her second husband has also had an affair, so she's decided she's going to divorce him. But both Bob, the husband, and Sarah have a lot of dark secrets, and they're going to use those secrets against one another to try and, I guess, play this out so that one person looks bad, ends up in jail, maybe gets killed. Let's see what happens. But there is definitely a lot of backstabbing, murder even, high stakes, very fast pace. I absolutely love it. It was one of those ones where I'm just like, oh, I'll just read another chapter. I'll just read another chapter. And for me, if it's a can't put down, binge worthy one, I've got to rate it as a 5 star. And I'm also very excited because the way this ended, I believe that there is going to be another book, so that is exciting. Right, next up we have the third installment in the Emily Wilde series. It is the Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. I really did like the first 2 books. They're sort of like a little bit more cozy fantasy, even though they do have that fairy realm. There are like some elements of darkness and danger in there, but overall, you know, quite cozy vibes. I will say, sadly, that this is probably my least favorite out of the 3. And one thing that I've just consistently not liked with all of them is that it's sort of been like a little bit more slow paced, and then it just seems like a quick fall down the stairs at the very end where everything happens and you're like, well, that was rushed. And I definitely feel like that's the case with this one. There is like a big kind of incident that is probably meant to be the climax of the book that was incredibly anticlimactic. I mean, nevertheless, I did like it, but it was one of those ones where I need to like sort of give myself a bit more incentive to like read another chapter, not one that I'm like excited to pick up each night. So I'm probably going to rate this as a 3.5. Still good, but not great. Next up we had Escape to Honeysuckle Hall by Rebecca Raisin, and this is like the second book of hers I've read like month to month. The last one was Elodie's Library of Second Chances, and I just found it like a little bit cliche, but I'm very happy to announce that the writing style has improved significantly in this book. The setting of Honeysuckle Hall is kind of the main setting, but the small town that surrounds it kind of comes in there somewhat. It is just like so cute, so charming. It really just gives like idyllic English countryside vibes. There's a romance angle, there's a friendship angle. It's very similar storyline to Elodie's Library of Second Chances in the sense that you have like a high-strung, overworked Londoner who escapes the city life to start a new life and live out her dreams. But there's obviously like a lot of disparity between some elements of the character's personality, backstory. The romance angle I feel like was a lot better done in this book. It was a bit more of like a slow burn. And there's also a little bit more of a curiosity or like tension angle in this one. So I feel like it is significantly better written, and I'm probably going to rate it as a 4 out of 5. Then we have my 2 non-fictions. This is a reread for me, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, Creative Living Beyond Fear, and I really like this book. If you want to live a creative life or start pursuing more creative hobbies, particularly if you're someone who's just worried about getting started, enough time, the judgment of others, any other excuse that you could possibly come up with, fear of failure, all of these different things. I feel like this one is a good one, kick up the butt to just get you started, but like 2, inspiration. And I just love that she's so authentically weaves in her own struggles and stories in there as well. It just feels like very easy to read, very relatable, and a quick read as well. And so I'm probably going to rate this as a 4.5 out of 5. And then last up, we had The Courage to Be Disliked. I'm actually not even going to attempt to pronounce the authors of this because it is a Japanese translation. So originally, I was not liking it because it's interestingly written as a back and forth conversation between a youth and a philosopher. And this youth has come to the philosopher to ask him different questions about life. And there's a lot of the like weird, awkward conversational bits that you have to have in there and like asking questions in order to provoke this dialogue and new information that happens. And I originally didn't like that because I just thought that that was weird. But over time, I have grown to appreciate it. And I just feel like actually because of that, it's made it a super digestible read, and it's made it to be written in like a more casual and conversational manner, even though it's about psychology essentially. The main thing that underpins it is this psychologist called Adler, I believe. And so it's basically just going on Alfred Adler. It says here, Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, and Alfred Adler are all giants in the world of psychology. This book is a distillation of Adler's philosophical and psychological ideas and teachings, taking the form of a narrative dialogue between a philosopher and a young man. Alderian, psychology enjoys a broad base of support in Europe and the USA and presents simple and straightforward answers to the philosophical question, how can one be happy? Alderian psychology might hold the key. Reading this book could change your life. Now let us accompany the young man and venture beyond the door. And I truly have found that the simple ideas that are presented in this have really led to, I'm sorry that my camera keeps on going in and out of focus, I'm just noticing it as well, but it's really led to a lot of revelations in myself and my own patterns of behavior and thinking. So if you're someone that is like looking for some sort of self-development book, want to learn a little bit more about a different aspect of psychology, I would definitely recommend giving this one a read. It's a very quick and easy read. And I guess one of the biggest takeaways that I've gotten from it is that all problems are interpersonal problems. That basically the fact that we need to relate to other people, which is kind of essential given the world that we live in, is going to cause us problems. And one of the problems that comes up is the fact that we're often undertaking tasks that are not our tasks, i.e. it's not our business or something that we need to do or worry about. That is their problem, their issue, and you need to at some point be able to create boundaries between what is the thing that is your task and what is the thing that is other tasks. But we often have this, conflict, and we blend into things that we just actually shouldn't really concern ourselves with. And I know that I personally do that so much, and there's a whole heap of other nuggets of wisdom, but I think that that is one of the biggest ones that they come back to again and again in this book, and definitely one that I need to do a little bit of introspection on in my own life. So I'm probably going to rate this as a 4 out of 5. Next, we are coming up on the books that are going to be my December reads. Now, I showed this in last month's video. I wasn't sure at that point which ones I was going to read for November and which ones I would save for December. So these are the ones I saved. we've got The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. And it says, this is a book about self-sabotage, why we do it, when we do it, and how to stop doing it for good. Coexisting but conflicting needs create self-sabotaging behaviors. This is why we resist efforts to change, often until they feel completely futile. But by extricating crucial insight from our most damaging habits, building emotional intelligence by better understanding our brains and bodies, releasing past experience at a cellular level, and learning to act as our highest potential future selves, we can step out of our own way and into our potential. For centuries, the mountain has been used as a metaphor for the big challenges we face, especially ones that seem impossible to overcome. To scale our mountains, we actually have to do the deep internal work of escaping trauma, building resilience, and adjusting how we show up for the climb. In the end, it's not about the mountain we master, but about ourselves. So very much in line with the Courage to be Disliked, but I think that it's going to take a very different angle on that. And the thing that I am looking forward to in this one is it's actually like a lot of like little snippets as opposed to a big chapter. So I feel like that's going to make it a lot more digestible. And then we've got two by the same author, Julia Bard. We've got Bright Shining, How Grace Changes Everything. And it says, grace is in most of its forms fleeting and often overlooked. It reveals itself in flashes and glimmers, but these are moments that illuminate and transcend. So the fundamental question must be, how different would our lives be if they were defined or lit by grace? What would happen to our hearts, our health? And then we've got Phosphorescence on All Wonder and Things That Sustain You When the World Goes Dark. It says, how do we continue to glow when the lights turn out? All we can do really is keep placing one foot on the earth, then the other, to seek out ancient paths and forests, certain in the knowledge that others have endured before us. We must love, and we must look outwards and upwards at all times, caring for others, seeking wonder and stalking awe, every day to find the magic that will sustain us and fuel the light within our own phosphorescence. Okay, so those two are a little bit more encouraging. And then we've got Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. And this looks intimidating in its size, but it's actually in large print, which I'm very much excited about because I don't know if you've seen me trying to squint at the back of these books. I'm not wearing my specs at the moment, and you girl has some sight issues going on these days. It says, when it comes to love, Emma is cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up. But it turns out she's not the only one afflicted with this condition. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being love's good luck charm has gone viral. Now the two have come up with an ingenious plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out and they'll go on to find their soulmate. Only Justin wasn't supposed to be so unbelievably cute and hilarious, but when Emma's toxic mother shows up and Justin has to assume guardianship of his 3 siblings, they're suddenly navigating a lot more than they expected, including catching real feelings. Has fate finally brought the perfect pair together, or will their cure be way more hazardous than the curse itself? And I feel like the obvious answer here is they're going to cure their curses by being in love with each other. I'm not entirely sure there, but love a good romance. And Just for the Summer, December in Australia is our first month of summer, one of my favorite months actually. So I'm very looking forward to reading this, hopefully as a lovely like beach read or outside with a nice cool glass of kombucha or something. But very much looking forward to some upbeat reads to finish off 2025. And then I actually totally forgot about this book, and probably the reason I forgot about it was because I didn't finish it. Women Living Deliciously by Florence Given. I really did enjoy her first book, Women Don't Owe You Pretty, but I just felt like this one was so vague and wishy-washy. It touched on too many topics, and she attempted to bring in her own experience, but did so in a way where she wasn't really giving you a lot of information about what occurred and how she was overcoming it or was able to overcome it. And I felt like that was crucial to this book being a success and to other people feeling like they could move out of like different struggles that they were facing as well. But it just wasn't really giving me anything. And I feel like this one potentially could be better for a younger audience. Although in saying that, one of the things that I really disliked about this book was she was just dropping the F-bomb everywhere. And it just felt so overused and unnecessary. And I feel like she could have shown her anger or passion or whatever feeling it was in just like a more intellectual way, if that's what she wanted to do. I don't know that just dropping the F-bomb just so casually everywhere all the time was just effective. So, I mean, I don't know what to give this one. It was a did not finish, so it's probably going to have to be like a 2 out of 5 maybe. Now, obviously, 2025 is not done yet. There is still a whole heap more to do before Christmas and after in preparation for the new year. There is going to be a get it all done with me video coming your way where I tick off all of those things I wrote on my absolutely massive to-do list. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below. I upload new ones every single week. That being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and I'll see you all in the next video. Now log off your device and go and enjoy your day. Bye friends.